Welcome to Baker's Day. Today we're going to show you boys and girls how we make our Play-Doh. You remember how you used to come into Patches and play with it, but I'm sure you wanted to know, how do we make it? Well, first of all, please make this with Mummy because you need to boil the hot water and we don't want you to burn. So ask Mummy to put on the kettle and let it boil. Don't do it on your own. Okay, now what we need to do is you need to have flour, and this is a cup of flour. Okay, 1 cup of flour. Then what you need is also what we call a quarter of salt. I'm sure you have already know what salt tastes like, but the salt is there to preserve it because you want to play with it more than once. So the salt helps to preserve the Play-Doh. Okay, so that's our salt that I've got. And then you need just 1 tablespoon of oil, not more, otherwise it becomes very, very sticky. So Mommy must help you measure your oil into a tablespoon, and that goes in as well as ingredients. And then you've got your boiling water. When it's finished, you must ask Mummy to fill it 3/4, and 3/4 will be about that much. So you see, you need Mummy to help you, that you get the right amount, because when you are baking, it is very important your ingredients measure out to the right amount.
3/4 cups.
Yeah, 3/4 cups. Okay, now, because we are learning about autumn, there is fruit that we eat in autumn time. And the one that is very good for you is lemons. I know it can be a little sour, bitish, but it's really good for you. So what I did was, I've already squeezed my lemons. You can ask Mummy to cut it in half. This is a whole lemon. And when you cut it in half, that's how it looks with its pips and its juice. Now I want to show you how much juice it's got. You've got to have a lot of power. You use this one hand, and this is a very good exercise. And you squeeze it in there hard, hard, hard. Don't worry if the pips fall in, that's fine. And then you squeeze, and it depends on how much lemon you want to put in. But just remember, the amount of water you put in must always equal to 3/4. So you must then ask Mummy, if you're using like 1 teaspoon, then your water must only come to a half, okay, of that. I will show you exactly what I mean. All right, then to make it also fun, you can take a little bit of lemon or yellow food coloring, any color you want. But because we're doing lemon, we want our Play-Doh to look like yellow. So that can be popped in there as well. Okay, and that's food coloring that can go in there. All right, then another ingredient, your last ingredient, is what we call cream of tartar. And that's just a spoon that goes into cream of tartar. And this is how it looks, almost like salt. Okay, and that's also to help preserve your Play-Doh. Now, you will need a nice big bowl, okay, because you're going to do mixing. That's the fun part. So what you do is you put your bowl there, and the first ingredients, we call these your dry ingredients, okay, because they're flour, salt, and cream of tartar is your dry ingredients. Liquid would be your water, and in this case, your lemon. Okay, so you pour in your flour, all of it must go in, okay, and that's called a measuring cup. All right, and I'm sure Mummy's got one of those. Then comes your salt. I've already measured it, and that goes into your flour there as well, and this is how that looks. You can see the different textures. That's salt, and that's flour, okay, and then the last of the dry ingredients is 1 tablespoon of tartar. Okay. can see 3 ingredients in there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, your flour, your salt, and tartar. What do you think is the most? If you look here, it will be your flour, then your salt, and then a tiny bit of tartar. Right, now you can shake it. Let it mix, 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 mix. Okay, not too hard, otherwise it's going to spray all over. So mix, 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 mix. Now we must look at doing our, what we call our wet ingredients. And that would be your water. And remember, we decided you can also make Play-Doh without any color if you don't like color. Okay, and then you just don't put any food coloring or paint or anything in. But in this case, I want to use a bit of yellow. So what we do is we need our measuring cup again. Okay, now let's see how much lemon and food coloring we got. Because we've got to get to three-quarter cup. Okay, this represents a whole cup. Okay, so let's see how much. I think I'm going to place it down because we don't want to burn our fingers. And when you place it down, you can really see nicely over there how much we are going to need. Actually, this one measures far better. We can see your numbers here. I think you're going to see the numbers much better there because that's the line we must get to. And you can see. Okay, now pour. Let Mummy help you because you don't want to burn. See, that's exactly how much. Now, that will go inside our flour, our dry ingredients. And you just pour. You can start off a little bit if you want to see what happens. Now, this is the messy part. You start mixing. It is a bit hot. If it's too hot, then let the water just cool down a little bit more. But not too much because it needs to be wet. So let's put it all in and see what happens. Okay, all right. And yeah, you're going to mix. If it's too hot, ask Mommy to just put a drop of cold water in, but not much because the heat is what makes the Play-Doh mix the flour and the water. Do you see how it's mixing there? Do you see what color is it becoming? Okay, now if it is too much Play-Doh water, then all you do is eventually you add a little bit more flour. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Oh, Auntie Liesel's hands are full of that. But that doesn't matter because we said we're having fun and messing is part of fun. So just add a little because we don't want it to be sticky. So just see how much more you need to add until you get, see, already there's a difference. And you just keep mixing until you feel it's not getting sticky on your hands. And you can keep on rolling, rolling, rolling. And you'll see as you're doing this, it's also cooling down. And you add some more Play-Doh. And so you keep mixing and adding. And then eventually, you just keep doing that. But for time-wise, I've already made mine. Okay? And then eventually it's going to look like this. Okay, look, mine's already going yellow. Isn't that amazing? You can even do that. See, this is called experimenting and just having fun and seeing what happens. And there you've got your Play-Doh. Now, what can we do with Play-Doh? If you were here, I know you would answer me. Well, first of all, we can do exercises with our Play-Doh. We can roll it between our two hands. We can make small balls between our fingers. And then Mommy has printed out for you number 1 to 5. And she's printed out your names and the letter for the week. Why don't you take your Play-Doh and let's see if we can make a nice number 1. And see if you can make your number 1 and place it on your number 1. Or what you can do too, if you want to make number 2, you place it and then you make number 2. See if you can make that in your fingers. What about the leaf that we talked about? If we look at a leaf, oh, see. Oh, what's happened? There we go. Let's see if we can make a shape of our leaf. I would say that's like an oval shape. So let's see if I can make like an oval in my hands. And if you want a green leaf, then obviously you're going to get just some food coloring to make it green. And the stem, remember we said the stem, the brim, really make a beautiful, beautiful leaf.
Right.
And whatever size you want it.
It's a nice leaf.
And there you got a leaf.